Hey guys, it is Saturday here in West Virginia, and we had some luck this morning at Walmart. We ended up finding a case of Autoworld. No Ultra Reds or no Ultra Raws, unfortunately, just basic case, and it was not the case I really wanted. Actually, it would have been two cases, the ones I'm looking for. It would have been the release one of 2025, case A and case B is what I would like to have. But we found the release 6 of 2024, which is the last of 2024, and it is also one of the mixes where there's only 3 castings and you get both variations of the casting in that release. So, anyways, in 2025, the first release is going back to the old style where you get 6 cars and there's 6 colors. There's 2 different colors of each car, 6 cars per case, case A, case B, which in a way, I don't really favor that too much when I'm waiting to find them at Walmart, because a lot of times, depending on how your Walmart gets them from like their warehouse, how their warehouse distributes them, you may only get like 1 A case, or you may get 2 A cases, or if you're lucky, you may get case A and case B. But most of the time, I just end up seeing one or the other and not 2. Like today, this is the only case of Autoworld, and it's the only case we've seen since we found release 5. I think it was in, I don't know, October or something. It was a long time ago. We don't get many Autoworld cars at our Walmart. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this done and such. But yeah, the case that I think it just started hitting on eBay today, honestly. Not this case, but case 1 for 2025, because I seen the alert that the charger that I want is popping up. There's a Sublime Green and a Plum Crazy one in this mix for 2025. And there's also 2 new wagons, 2 new square bodies, and a brand new casting of the Eagle Italian, which is cool. Basically, I'm just going after the 2 new Chargers and the 2 new wagons is what I want. But the Italians wouldn't be bad if I could find them on the pegs. But if I had to order them from Evil Bay, I'm going to just get the Chargers and the wagons for the $9 a piece. 9 or 10 is what they usually run on eBay. And at Walmart, they're really cheap. They're like $5.50. I think I paid $5.44 each for these. This receipt says $5.44. So that's a really good price for Autoworld. So we're going to start with the first one. That is this guy here. And this case is for Ford lovers. Release 5 of 2024 was for modern muscle lovers. So the guys that had the like Challengers, Chargers, and such, they all loved like that case because it was all about their type of cars. And it had 2 Mustangs too. So it wasn't all Mopar guys, it was just modern muscle guys. Now this case, however, though, is for the Ford lovers. You have 2 Mustangs, 2 Galaxies, and 2 Lincoln Continentals. So here's the first one, and we'll do A first. So this is a 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1. And as you can see, this is release 6 version A. And the green is kind of not a very hot green color, but it's really not that bad either. Looking at it in person, it's unique. And they even called it green gold poly, bright green gold poly. So it is like gold and sunlight, and then green and others. And with the cream or white colored interior and the black stripes and spoiler, it looks really good. So this may become one of the more sought after colors, but because they made a ton of these, as you can see, no longer do they have a number, just a special edition. So they've produced well over 20,000 of these. I think after they started going to like 19,000 and some they stopped numbering them because they were starting to get high with their numbers, like 17,000, 19,000. I don't think I've seen one with 20,000, but there could have been. So anyways, let's go to the premium facts on this guy. This is a 1973, 1973 marks the beginning of the end of the first muscle car era due to increased government scrutiny and regulations. Yeah, this is the gas crisis, and also like the supply was supposed to be in jeopardy and pollution was out of hand. So yeah, the government really hammered on the muscle cars. So yeah, it was basically death to everything that we knew as a hot rod guy, until probably the mid to late 80s when we started getting like 5.0 Mustangs, IROC Camaros, and Grand Nationals and Turbo Buicks and stuff like that. And those were all not that hot either, but they were a little better than what we had seen for a decade and a half, pretty much. Or a decade, I would say, because, yeah, it started in about 74 and lasted till, I don't know, mid-late 80s. I know they had 5.0s and other stuff at the beginning of the 80s, but they just were not high-power cars. So anyways, the next fun fact here is the front grille of the 1973 Mustang was a one-year-only design before the major rework of the 1974 Mustang, also known as the Mustang II, or the Performance Pinto, I like to call it. So anyways, this is your first one of this mix. Second one is this white color, and they kind of deceive you a lot, and it even says that in the premium facts. The color is premium white, and it says the most powerful engine available in 1973 was the 351 Cleveland V8, which produced around 266 horsepower. I'm not sure if they meant for Ford or overall. It just says the most powerful. I'm assuming probably just Ford, but I don't know. The 1973 Ford color, pearl white, did not actually have any pearl essence effect as the name suggests. So it's kind of like, I don't know, fake marketing or something. It was a lie. They should have been sued by people. But nowadays they would be. But back then, I don't think anybody thought about that kind of stuff as people do nowadays. So it looks good with the saddle or tan colored interior, whatever you'd like to call it. Yeah, this is just basically like a bright white poly is basically what I would call it. Now on the plates, I forgot to read the green one. We'll go over it in a second. This is, you know what? I don't even know what that says on this one. DOSND, but there's something before it. Speed? Maybe SPD? Or no, it's SP. Maybe SPOO? Let's zoom in a little bit and see what we can get on these. So it's SP, I think DOSND. So speed or sand? I have no idea. That's okay. That one I'm lost on, guys. If you can enlighten me on what that's supposed to mean, maybe. This one, however, is pretty blunt and straightforward. Green, I think. Yeah, it says green. So it's not so hard to figure out. Then next we have Release 2, which is a beautiful car. This is the 1964 Ford Galaxie 500XL, and this model in particular I love because of the hood and the stance. The stance on this car is awesome, the way Autoworld made these sit, and the teardrop hood. This hood was available on a lot of the high performance models, usually 390, 427, something like that, and it was borrowed from their Fairlane, the Thunderbolt. The little guy that had the 427 at the drag strip killer, also I like to call it. So this one here is your Release A, or version A, Release 6. So your premium facts. The Galaxie nameplate was in use by Ford from 1958 through 1974. With its taillights resembling rocket boosters, the Galaxie name was a reflection of the ongoing space race of the 1960s. So it's in sunshine yellow. The color swatch looks nothing like the color of the car. The color of the car reminds me of like the Chevy color called butternut yellow. Now the plates on these two cars are very cool because version A and version B go together. So as you can see, the plate on this car, O-U-T-E-R, outer. So remember that. Then this second one here, this is my favorite of the two because I love the color match steel rims with the dog dish caps. This one I'm almost tempted to keep because this has a lot of racing heritage. Not as much as the Fairlane did, the Thunderbolt, but these still were pretty well known, and the way this thing looks, it just looks really, really good with its stance and that hood and the color, everything. This is called Dynasty Green Poly, which I don't see it. I would have called it like blue, but it does not look anything to do with green to me. So, anyways, our premium facts on this guy. The Galaxie 500 XL was the top trim model in the Ford Galaxie lineup. So this is the top-of-the-line trim package. Originally made for the Fairlane Thunderbolt, the fiberglass teardrop hood was developed by the Ford Special Vehicles Team, SVT, for better drag strip performance. So, now remember I told you to remember that other plate. This says space. You put these guys next to each other. This would be a really cool diorama pic, like in front of a NASA sign or something. The one plate says outer, and the second plate says space, outer space. So that's kind of cool how they did that. I don't remember them ever doing anything like that before, where the two cars corresponded with one another with their plates. That's a pretty cool idea. So, anyways, going to the last one, which is going to be a hot one for a lot of people, the 1979 Lincoln Continental Lowrider. This thing looks really good as a lowrider. The Lincoln and the Mercury Cougar, the Grand Marquis, all those two doors of the late 70s from Ford and Lincoln are hot lowriders, kind of like a G-body or an early 60s Impala. It's just kind of like one of those trademark lowriders when you think of lowriding. In my mind, like when I think of lowrider, a 64 Impala comes to mind. That's the first car that pops up. And because of my age group and my love for mid-80s, late 80s General Motors, rear-wheel drive, mid-size cars, the G-body platform, that's my favorite lowrider, like a Cutlass or Regal, Monte Carlo, Grand Prix, and so forth. But anyways, yeah, the ones after the Impalas and the G-bodies, I would say this would have been the car. The late 70s Lincoln, Mercury's, and Fords, the big two-doors. And they are very good-looking cars as a lowrider. I don't think Chrysler, like Mopar, as much as I love Mopar, I don't think Mopar ever had a car that was popular for lowriding. I've seen some done. I've even seen some customs done up of some old Mopars, but they just are not that hot in that car culture as what Chevy and Ford are. Especially the Chevys are very popular in the lowriding community. The Chevys and the GMs, and then the Fords, and then for like the early stuff, like from the 50s and 60s. Well, the 50s mainly, the 40s and 50s, I should say. I think Ford and Mercury dominated that era. Then came the 60s, then everybody turned to the Impalas and such. But yeah, these things look really good. The graphics are kind of subtle, which I would have made them more bold because lowriders are all about that bold statement with bright graphics on top of like candy paints and such. The silver one has better show than the gold. Well, the silver one's the first version anyway. So as you can see, the striping and stuff, you can see it a little bit better on this one. And the black half top, the Lando top, all the pinstriping on the roof, the hoods, and deck lid. Yeah, the cars, well, lowrider culture is known very well for like the pattern style paint jobs. The graphics that they lay out go along with the body lines, and they have all these pattern inserts. Then each pattern block are detailed with stripes or fading and such things like that, and it looks fantastic. This one has chrome D's on it, or Dayton's, whatever you want to call them, or it could be a different brand, but most common and most popular would be Dayton wire wheel. This one has a plate that says Silver Thing. The back of it looks really good with the Lincoln emblem and such. Looks really good. So moving on to the gold one. Our gold one is a nice one too. It just does not show off the pinstriping as well as the silver did, but the gold half Lando top looks good. I don't know if they called it Lando top on all manufacturers or if that was just a GM thing. Don't know. But this one says bold gold on the plate. And, oh, I forgot to read the premium facts. Okay, premium facts on this one. Whittier Boulevard in Los Angeles. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. Los Angeles, California is considered the epicenter of lowrider culture. It's world famous for its slow-rolling car scene. Lowriders originated in East LA in the 1940s and 50s. Its roots are based in both the car customization trends of the time and the cultural expressions of the community at large. Then, yeah, it spread everywhere. You even have lowrider bicycles, and then the way, like, some of the dress and such, your fashion and all that. Lowrider had everything. So this is the first Lincoln Continental lowrider ever made by Autoworld. The Continental's bold front grille was inspired by classic Greek architecture, particularly the peaked roof and pillars of the what is it, Parthian? I don't know if that's right or not, how I'm pronouncing it. So anyways, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will be back on Monday to do our Mopar Monday. I have a Greenlight 70 Charger to crack open for you guys. Maybe we'll have more by then, not sure, but we at least have that to look forward to. And be sure to turn on your notification bell so you know when we do just throw a video out there, because we're just kind of doing it spontaneously right now, because we never know when we're going to find something new at Walmart and when stuff is going to arrive from China or stuff I have ordered from eBay. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on Monday.